You've prayed, fasted, waited, and still nothing. You're exhausted, not just physically, but spiritually tired of hearing wait when everything in you is screaming for breakthrough. But what if I told you that God's wait isn't silence, it's strategy, and the delay isn't punishment, it's protection? The truth is, when God says wait, it often means He's doing His deepest work in the most hidden places of your life. You think you're being overlooked, but heaven is orchestrating a plan that needs precise timing. Isaiah 40:31 says, "Those who wait on the Lord will renew their strength." But that renewal doesn't come without the tension of patience colliding with purpose. You keep checking your phone for a call, your email for a door, your heart for confirmation. But God isn't bound by your schedule. He's bound to His word, and His word never returns void. Isaiah 55:11. The danger is that waiting too long makes you vulnerable to compromise. You start dating the wrong people, taking the wrong jobs, following counterfeit callings, all because you're tired of standing still while everyone else seems to be moving. But be warned. Moving ahead of God feels like progress until the storm hits. Ask Abraham, who tried to rush God's promise and birthed Ishmael instead of waiting for Isaac, Genesis 16. There's a reason heaven sometimes withholds speed. Acceleration without preparation is destruction in disguise. You cry out for change, but would you survive what you're asking for if it arrived today? God doesn't just prepare the blessing for you, He prepares you for the blessing. That's why the waiting season often feels like a wilderness, quiet, lonely, and full of uncertainty. But even in the wilderness, manna fell daily, enough to keep going, but never enough to settle. This is how God trains dependency, by teaching you to trust what you can't see more than what you can. You say you're tired of waiting, but could it be that your frustration is actually fear in disguise? Fear that God forgot you, fear that you missed it, fear that your prayers are bouncing off the ceiling. But Psalm 27:14 says, "Wait for the Lord. Be strong and let your heart take courage. Wait for the Lord." That repetition isn't poetic, it's prophetic. You're not just waiting on an event, you're being shaped into someone who can carry the weight of what's coming. Some doors haven't opened because you'd destroy the room if you walked through too soon. Some relationships haven't bloomed because God's still pruning your heart. Some platforms haven't appeared because your character isn't finished being carved. You think silence is rejection, but it's actually refinement. You want the calling without the crushing, the reward without the resistance, the promise without the process. But God never skips steps. Even Jesus waited 30 years before stepping into 3 years of public ministry. Think about that. The Son of God waited in obscurity, doing ordinary things, while carrying an extraordinary destiny. So who told you that being hidden means being forgotten? Some of God's greatest warriors are trained in secret, and the enemy loves when you equate stillness with stagnation. He wants you to mistake rest for laziness, silence for abandonment, and waiting for wasting. But Psalm 37:7 commands you to be still before the Lord and wait patiently for Him. Not bitterly, not anxiously, patiently, because God is not slow as some understand slowness, 2 Peter 3:9, but He is thorough. His delays are never without divine reason. Sometimes He delays so that He alone gets the glory, so that when the door opens, you'll know it wasn't your networking, your hustle, or your timing, but His hand alone. And here's the shocking truth. The longer the wait, the greater the weight of what's coming. If it's taking longer than expected, it's probably bigger than you imagined. The enemy is attacking your patience because he knows what's on the other side of your perseverance. That's why the warfare intensifies when the breakthrough is near. You start questioning everything: your calling, your identity, even God's goodness. But James 1:4 says, "Let patience have its perfect work, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking nothing." Did you catch that? Waiting isn't wasting. It's working something in you that blessings alone can't build. This is why spiritual maturity is proven in the waiting, not the winning. Anybody can praise after the miracle, but can you worship while nothing's changing? Can you still show up, still obey, still pray, still believe, when the promise feels like a lie? That's the test. And many secretly fail, not because God said no, but because they walked away before He said now. You might be one decision away from seeing everything shift, but impatience wants to abort what persistence is about to birth. Don't let delay provoke disobedience. Saul lost the kingdom because he couldn't wait for Samuel and chose to act in his own timing. 1 Samuel 13. Don't become your own downfall because you feared being forgotten. God hasn't forgotten you. He's forming you. Hidden seasons are holy seasons, even when they hurt. This moment of waiting is not a pause. It's a proving ground. Heaven is watching how you handle the tension between not yet and any day now. And what you do here determines how you carry what comes next. So don't numb your waiting with distractions. Don't cheapen your waiting by comparing it to someone else's timeline. And don't curse your waiting when it's actually a blessing in disguise. Let the delay do its work. Let the silence stretch your faith. Let the obscurity purify your motives. Because the promise will come, but only when you're ready to hold it without dropping your soul in the process. You say you're tired, but strength is born where surrender begins. You say you're done, but God says He's just getting started. So wait, but wait well. Wait with hope, not heaviness. Wait with worship, not whining. Wait knowing that God finishes what He starts, Philippians 1:6. And if He said it, He will do it. Because what's coming won't just be worth the wait. It'll make you forget the pain of waiting altogether.